So we've all been around the snake oil salesperson, that can promote, and get the deal signed. But at the end of the day, do you really end up with the value, the ROI that you want from that product? And so, just be wary of who you're dealing with. And so I've kind of got a checklist of how I go through when I'm picking somebody that I want to work with for KPA and for previous companies that I like to talk about. This is straight out of Dealer Refresh. And this is related to search engine optimization companies. And so the takeaway here was this company said, geez, I optimized 585 keywords, but those words are not relevant. And so why the heck am I spending money on this vendor who's taking me down this primrose path of focusing on something that I don't care about? So if you just total the bottom two categories there, a little trust or total trust, in this segment of SEO vendors, you only get 28% that are pretty happy with their vendors. That's a scary number to me. So it tells you that there's a lot of room for improvement relative to all of us bringing the bar up as far as what we want to provide to our dealers as far as service, and making sure that there is trust and respect there. These are just some of the vendors in the space off of driving sales. It gives you an idea of why you're getting 25 calls a day. I'm sure Liz, you're getting pinged, and Chad and all you guys, Val, are getting pinged constantly by people saying, hey, I got the new shiny object of the day for you to look at. And that's where, just be careful as you guys are seasoned and you've been through it, but there's a lot of younger internet marketing managers, younger, smaller dealerships that, oh yeah, sure, I'll give that a try. And then, again, you get into that cycle of every 3 to 6 months you're changing out your vendor. So just to kind of talk about the trusted partnership relationship, I'm going to use something from our environment safety side that's unrelated to digital, but we all know what airbags are for our car, right? What you don't know, or may not, depending on what part of your dealership you're involved with, is all the regulatory activity going on with EPA behind the scenes. So just to give you an idea, recently Hyundai sent out a note to all the Hyundai dealers that you can detonate your used airbag or an airbag that's defective at your dealership and just throw it in the trash like you see here. One of the top 3 auto dealer groups just got a $400,000 fine for doing that very thing in Georgia, and it's one of our clients. So we were able to work with the Fed standard, with the Georgia EPA, and get that fine reduced down to something much, much less. But the reality is that airbags are hazardous waste because they're explosive, and they need to be handled in a very specific way. So we recommend to our dealers to send those to a specific vendor in Utah that will detonate those for you. And it costs a couple bucks, but it saves you a $400,000 fine. So it's just a case where paying attention to detail, interpreting the laws, staying on top of this, working arm in arm with our vendor. Those are the kind of people that you want to, pay attention to as far as a good vendor that has a consultative nature and understands the market and is constantly doing research and education. So I know many of the partners here are doing proactive education in different ways. Obviously Brian is leading this event with Carrie, and so we highly respect that, because for us, we're all about trying to educate, our not only our clients but the industry on some of the changes. And so we do webinars, three webinars a week on environment, HR, and digital marketing activities. And we think it's very important not to be pushing our product, but just to be talking about, hey, what's changed, best practices, and how we can really help out in the market. So again, our goal is to be very factual, transparent, and I think that's really important for any kind of vendor you work with, is what are the facts, just like Peter was talking about, getting the real information around, where you're spending your dollars on SEM and SEO and so on. This is just a view of kind of our dashboard for how we're representing data for your different areas within environment and safety. So from a trusted partner perspective, what are the things that are really important? So I'm gonna pick on somebody here. So Val, think of somebody that you work with, might be sitting beside you or not, that you like and respect, and that you have a working relationship with. Has that been a positive thing? How did you pick that person, and kind of what was your thought process when you were going through, hey, I got 3 different vendors, I'm narrowing this down, I'm going to pick one. Did any, what were the things beside price that really mattered to you?
Here's the question. So yeah, I did through extensive research initially. We planned it for months before we choose a certain vendor. Let's say Bill Solutions is one of our providers. We use their CRM. So before we chose the CRM, it was really a lot of homework done. Comparisons with other competitors of his. Looking at what is important to us, what is our goal, what we're trying to accomplish. Is it the perfect system? No. But does it do for us what we need to do? And then at the end of the day, of course, we have also, it comes to money and everything, but actually the price was the last thing.
Yeah. Did you talk to any of the other people using the product by chance, or look at any reviews?
I did.
Yeah. So
we dig really deep before we made the final decision.
Yeah, because it's a big deal, right? I mean, changing CRMs is
the whole culture in the group.
It's painful, right?
Yeah, it's really reality changing the whole culture in the group right now as we speak. It'd be almost, what is it now, 9 months with them, 10 months?
Yep. Yeah, so number one, you want to look at the attributes. So Val mentioned, it's got to have the capabilities that Val's group was looking for. Alignment, I think alignment's a key issue that sometimes you may or may not think about, but alignment is, okay, I'm trying to achieve these capable metrics, I'm trying to achieve this objective with this particular product, and if this person is over, this vendor is over here saying, oh, I can do all that, but look at what I can do over here, and this is not really important, then that may not be the right choice for you. So it's really making sure that their goals and how they're going to react and work with you are aligned with you. I mean, so we have certain people that say, we got digital marketing figured out, Vane, just give us a website. Okay, that's different than somebody saying, hey, I like what Mark's doing at PCG. Do you have an account manager that can help us kind of do the entry level, complete marketing overview when we install our website and really help us with our digital marketing? So that's why we've really spent a lot of time putting account managers out in the field that are well trained, a lot of experience, that can do proactive consulting and help out with all the changes and looking at cost of acquisition, cost per lead, cost per visitor. So obviously a lot of moving parts here, right? These are all different categories that you guys have to deal with every day. If you're on the digital side, thinking about, oh my God, do I put in a new CRM? Do I focus on SEM, SEO? What's going on with mobile? And so how do you sort through all this? And the reality is, surround yourself with good people, whether it's internal, external, and so picking partners is important. So we kind of view, at least in just a subset of some of the digital categories that you saw on the previous slide, social, I would argue, needs to be done both internally and externally. It's a community aspect, so you constantly have to be engaged as the dealer in your social strategy. That doesn't mean you can't have a vendor to help you with reputation management, with your category, your campaigns that you're running. And so I kind of view social as, you can't just totally farm that out and expect that to be successful. Whereas with the SEO, SEM pay-per-click, web design, graphic design, reputation management, those are all things that certainly make sense that you can have a good partner for, and make a lot of sense that where things are moving, a lot of details, and you can say, here's what I'm trying to achieve, but then let them come and bring the expertise to the table. So, just from an SEO perspective, again, the next step I talked about was benchmarking and metrics. So this example of a dealer that was really, they were trying to focus on getting their visits up. Back to Brian's comments this morning, how do we really drive visitors if the premise is more visitors to my inventory drives more sales? So we looked at this particular vendor, just like I'm sure Sean and Brian could bring up stats on a lot of their happy clients, but the goal, the point of the slide is not to show what KPA did. The goal is to show we had a goal up front that they wanted to increase their visits by 25%. They wanted to look at how many page views, and returning visitors. And so those are the things we focused on. We aligned our strategy with theirs. And so picking somebody that can really do that for you is critical. It's funny, we're just having Peter talk, but this is a stat that I pulled up just showing how many changes have been made, some of the major changes at least, this year. As far as smaller detail changes, it's over 500 times. So in the SEO world, again, Chad was asking, what's the ROI? You know, how do you measure it? Those are all great questions because there's a lot of things moving here. And so just trying to keep up and do the white hat activity, focusing in now more on video as video becomes more and more prominent, focusing more on smartphones. Picking a partner that really understands that is critical. So here's some questions that I ask vendors that work with KPA. And so I don't know if these resonate with you, but A, do they have an account management process? Like, okay, when you install this product, are you just going to walk away and I got to deal with your tech support and that's it? And what's your tech support organization look like? Or do you have somebody that's going to be a go-to person for me? You know, I'm a group, I've got 5 locations, I've got 10 locations, I got 20. I demand a go-to person. And so that's something that, for me, you know, like dealing with our inventory provider, when I got to KPA, or when we made the TK acquisition, we were just dealing with the tech support group, which was not effective. So we've now got a direct chain of command. We have what we call a trusted partnership relationship, which is 4 or 5 people on our side know 4 or 5 people on their side, and we know how to escalate things, whether it's a weekend, 2 in the morning, or in the middle of the day. We know who the go-to person is and how we get there. Proven values. So this is where Val went and did his homework, right? And wanted to make sure that before he picked Vane, he knew other people that had had success, that some of the key criteria that DG were looking at were accomplished with the Vane product. And so proven value, the services, does it work? Is it out there? Is it a new technology? Is this a new DMS provider that's got half the price, but it's pretty young and it's not fully baked and they don't have all the fields that map across? Those are all things that are pretty important to check out. And then what's the maturity? I mean, not that you need somebody that's been in the business for 10 or 15 years. This market moves quickly, but you certainly don't want the brand new shiny object that just came out 2 months ago and is not tested. You know, I spend a little time, this may sound a little funny, but I spend a little time trying to figure out what their core values and how their culture works. So I always like to meet, you know, for a key vendor of ours, I always like to bring in, you know, a couple of the executives, not just the salespeople, and understand, you know, how do they operate? Are they willing to make a trip to come see me if it's going to be a big commitment on our part? Do they return phone calls and emails promptly? Do they really respect what we're trying to accomplish? Do they listen, or do they just talk all the time? That all starts, you know, toward the top of the organization, and so being able to understand that from the executives versus just the salesperson really helps me make a good decision relative to who I should pick. And then, you know, ultimately, you know, the name of the game is do people vote with their feet and leave that particular vendor on a frequent basis. So I'll call not 3 or 4 names that they give me, but I'll do research and find out, is there 10 or 15 people I can talk to and find out if they're all happy, and do they know of anybody else that has left or stayed with that company. And so it's really about, you know, building long-term relationships and value. And so if it's a quick in and out, hey, they sold me something, it worked for 6 months, but then they didn't call me back, or they couldn't get their tech support on the line, they claimed this would work and this didn't work, you know, that's not the kind of company I want to work with. And then employee turnover. So you may find you got a great salesperson, a great account manager, a great, you know, technical resource at that particular vendor, but if their employee turnover, if they don't have a culture for retaining people, then the odds of them having that person around in 6 months figuring out a go-to person is going to be limited. So real key stuff. So I just wanted to kind of give a quick overview of some things that we think about when it comes to picking our partners, and how we see, you know, from my view coming into the industry, some of the challenges here is that there are, you know, it's kind of any emerging market like digital marketing is at a dealership creates a lot of opportunity for people to come into the market, and there's going to be a lot of consolidation over the next couple of years because there's a lot of money spent here. There needs to be cutting-edge solutions, so there'll always be an opportunity for new entrants. But I think from a standpoint of picking partners, as this becomes a bigger part of your marketing budget, you're going to want to pick that wisely and work with folks that are really committed to the long term, committed to you as a dealer, committed to your strategy, and making sure that they're aligned with you from the standpoint of how they work and how they're going to accomplish the goals that you're trying to get. So, questions? Anything I can?
Vane, I'll say one thing in regards to an earlier question with SEO. JD Ruckman's on your team.
Yep.
Really helped build your SEO strategy. I will say that of all the companies offering, targeted SEO services, KPA's strategy has been right on since I got into this business, and it was JD, that was out there very early on for car dealers, helping the strategy. And so if you are not pleased with the SEO results that you're getting, which I would call these automated $300 a month charges per store, and you say, well, what really could you do for $300 a month per store if Google's rewarding relevant content, relevant video, that the strategy that KPA has been really solid. So,
Well, thanks. Yeah, just like some of Brian's work, we spend a lot of time here. We have a big team dedicated to our search engine optimization and put a lot of time and effort into staying on top of what's going on with white hat activity there. Cool. All right. Any other questions, comments? Great. Thank you.